be here with you all today and to be part of what will soon be, in just 2 years, an 100-year tradition of empowering the next generation of global citizens. As Michael said, my name is Hikaru Wakeel Hayakawa, and I'm the Executive Director of Climate Cardinals. Today, I want to share a few reflections on why this conference and what you're doing here is more important than ever, and how, from experience, I know that you already have the skills and the knowledge to lead as global citizens that our generation needs. 10 months ago, I graduated as a history major from Williams College. Today, I lead one of the world's largest youth-led climate organizations. I also advise UNESCO and the World Health Organization and work closely with various UN agencies. And I don't say that to impress you. I say that because the distance between where you are right now and where you want to be is much shorter than it seems. Like many of you, I grew up in the New York metro area, the child of a Guyanese American mother and a Japanese immigrant father, both deeply committed to service, learning, and community. In my family, global citizenship wasn't just something that we talked about, it was something that we lived. I grew up knowing my great-grandmother, who helped raise my mom. She was an Afro-Caribbean woman raised by a Chinese family in Guava Bush, Guyana. She and her husband, a Muslim Indo-Guyanese man who arrived as an indentured servant and became a small business owner, ran a supermarket together and helped our family immigrate to the US. Inspired by them, my mom became a civil servant. She later married my dad, the first in his family to leave Japan. He built a community wherever he went, whether through coding or through his dojo as an Aikido instructor. Through my family, I saw how global cooperation shaped everything: who we could stay in contact with, which parts of our family were most exposed to pollution, and what institutions stepped in to help. And while I know my family's story is unique, I also know many of you have your own versions, stories that shaped how you see the world and why you've chosen to be here. Still, I didn't see myself as a leader. I felt more at home reading science fiction and dreaming of better worlds. Like many of you, I cared about global issues. I just didn't know how to turn that into action. That started to change when I got involved in local action and even joined my school's Model UN Club. What made the difference was community. I was lucky to find spaces, like this one, that believed in me, gave me room to grow, and reminded me, you don't have to wait to lead. That's what led me, at 18, to join the founding team of Climate Cardinals. We were a group of recent high school graduates, mostly US-based children of immigrants, who realized that the climate movement was leaving people behind. Less than 20% of the global population speaks English, but yet 90 to 98% of climate information is only available in English, depending on the type. So we built Climate Cardinals to change that. We weren't that different from most of your school clubs. We had a $500 budget, a pretty basic Squarespace website that might have looked like a scam, and we ran everything on Google Classroom. And then one day, early in the pandemic, we made a TikTok. The message was simple: get your volunteer hours, join the climate movement by translating climate information. And overnight, it went viral. And suddenly, we grew from a handful of 10 students to over 6,000. But with that growth came growing pains. We had to do something a lot of you are already good at: learning how to learn. Suddenly, managing thousands of volunteers meant building systems from scratch. We consistently asked for feedback. We listened to volunteers' ideas, and we rebuilt our processes one piece at a time. We streamlined communications using tools that you probably use every day: Slack, WhatsApp, and Google Drive. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. And fun fact, I used to work with a negotiator for the EU, for the UNFCCC, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, and he showed me the text where they agreed on the 1.5 degree threshold. It was in WhatsApp. But most importantly, throughout this process, we kept on listening. Soon the world started to notice. We were featured in Forbes, CNN, and the Washington Post. We were appointed to advise the UN Secretary General on climate change, participating in global convenings like COP29 in Azerbaijan, the UN's annual climate summit, where countries assess progress and negotiate global solutions for climate. We met amazing people, Bill Clinton, Justin Trudeau, and many more. But honestly, some of the most impressive people I've met are the young people I work with every day. I always tell people, the adults that work with us, that young leaders are incredible because we simply don't know our limits. For example, I have one team member, Abhinav Ann. He's 16 years old, and he's a climate activist from Chicago. He writes our white papers on language equity and different climate solutions for policymakers and for the UN. And one day, he told me that the World Health Organization's Director General was looking for youth advisors. I didn't really think that much of it, so I honestly went to ChatGPT and produced a letter in 2 minutes. And then a few weeks later, he texted me from Berlin, telling me that he was on his way to meet Dr. Tedros, the head of the World Health Organization. I also work with another team member, a then 16-year-old who pitched a soon-to-launch project with the Nature Conservancy, now with over 40,000 pre-signups. Today, Climate Cardinals is a global network of over 16,000 volunteers in 134 countries, like Michael said, and we have 185 school-based chapters, mostly across Southeast Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. And together, we've reached over 11 million people with multilingual climate education and action resources. And just a year ago, we became one of the first youth-led organizations to be supported by Google's philanthropic arm. And now, I have the joy of working full-time on this project that I've been a part of since I was 18. And I'm 23, so probably the same age as many of you. Every day, I get to work with the kindest, smartest people who challenge me, who bring me joy and remind me why this work matters. A few months ago, we partnered with Yale to translate emergency preparedness guides into Spanish for Latinx communities in the US. A post-program survey showed that people who received the translations were 3 times more likely to prepare for natural disasters, to know where to go for resources, and to access resources ahead of time. That's the power of accessibility, and that's also the power of youth like you, who are already creating impact where it counts. Looking back at the last 5 years, there are a few lessons that have stayed with me. Lessons I hope you'll carry with you too. First, you already have the skills, the systems thinking, the negotiation, the research and communication. You're practicing them right now. Second, don't be afraid to act. You don't have to be an expert to make a difference. We certainly had limited knowledge about translation and about what we were doing, but we learned in the process. Third, running a healthy organization or contributing to one really just comes down to being a good person. Kindness, follow through, trust, and respect go a long way. And finally, courage matters more than credentials. Being honest, being clear about your values, and standing up for them will take you further than any resume ever could. If this work speaks to you, there are lots of ways to get involved. You can join our organization at www.climatecardinals.org. You can also explore climate opportunities with other organizations at one of our projects, our Youth Climate Opportunities Hub, climatecalling.org. And there's so many ways for you to already get involved in the UN system right now. Of course, you're already part of Model UN, and hopefully you'll be involved for years to come. You can also join your local UN association. You can get involved with UN affiliate networks like the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change Youth Constituency, YOUNGO, the Major Group for Children and Youth, the SDSN Youth Network, or UNESCO's Youth Climate Action Network. And these are all ways that you can currently get involved, and people are interested in hearing your voice. And of course, feel free to come up to me afterward or to reach our team online. I love to hear what you're building or dreaming. And as we shape Climate Cardinals' 5-year strategic plan, I'm especially focused on listening and learning from young people like you. You're not just participants in the movement, you're leading it. As I end, I'll be honest. When I was in Model UN, I had no idea what the keynote speakers were saying. I don't think I really remembered, but that's okay. What stays with us are the people we meet, the conversations in between sessions, and the quiet moments when something clicks, and we realize that we're part of something bigger. So if you remember anything from tonight, I hope you take away 3 things. First, as Michael said, global citizenship matters more than ever. If we want to sustain cooperation in a fractured world, we need to strengthen the institutions and networks like this one that make it possible. Second, if you're looking for leadership in this uncertain time, look no further than yourself. We don't have to do everything, but we do have unique experiences, perspective, and power to lead, especially in the communities we already know best. Half the global population is under 30. We're not a small voice. We're half the world. Because we haven't been part of prior systems, we bring fresh ideas and new energy, and we're already building, and we're already learning. Third, I know that these conferences end with delegate awards, and I want to sincerely congratulate those of you who will receive them, but maybe because I never got one, I want to leave you with this. The most meaningful thing you'll leave with is each other. The people around you are smart, committed, energized, and ready to lead, and so are you. You don't need permission, just purpose. Thank you, and I can't wait to see where you lead next.
Thank you to Hikaru for both his example and his empowerment that you can